Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make your private header work with your Sky3DS Plus when the online guides just don't explain it well enough, or even if you followed every step to a T, it still doesn't work. I'm going to keep this video short and sweet while also giving you all of the relevant information you need to figure this out if you need it later on. You're going to need 5 things. You're going to need the Gateway ROM Patcher, the ROM file itself. I'm using Mario Kart 7 in this tutorial. Your own private header, the configuration file or the CFG file for the game, which is found inside of your Sky3DS Plus's microSD card, as well as the settings.txt file also found in that same microSD card. The first thing you're going to do is open up your settings.txt file. If you don't have this line here, the create per game settings equals 1 already in here, type it in manually just like I have it with all of the underscores, no spaces, all caps. Also, under the default game save key, you're going to put your private header in here. Now this is an example header. This is a public header. Don't use this one. It won't work. I'm not responsible for any stupidity that may occur if you use it. So you're going to save that and put it onto your micro SD card. We actually don't need this file anymore. Now, many of the online guides tell you to do what we just did and play it, and it works, but it doesn't actually seem to work 100% of the time. So today I'm going to show you how I got it to work on mine after doing weeks worth of research and experimenting. The first thing you're going to do after we take care of the settings file is to go and open up your Gateway ROM Patcher here. Now I'm using version 0.6, but they all work just about the same. Really no difference. So what you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop your ROM file, or you can hit load ROM, doesn't matter, it's just a faster way, onto the patcher. You'll see all of this this information up here. It's not relevant to what we need to do. This middle section here is actually what we need to focus on. The cart ID is where your private header goes. I already had it copied, so I'm just going to paste it, and that's where it's going to go. Now here is actually the most important part of this whole thing. The chip ID here is super important in all of this. The first 2 digits, these 2 here, in this 8-digit code are all we really need to focus on. The other 6 digits here focus on the size of the ROM as well as the card type. We don't need to focus on those because those are actually going to be filled in automatically. We won't have to do a thing for them. The first 2 digits are the manufacturer's ID number. Luckily, there are only 3 different manufacturer IDs listed right here. So it won't take long to figure out which one you need to use. So the question is, which one do I use? It actually depends on where you got your header from. The different manufacturers, Micronix, SanDisk, and OKI Semiconductor, they all create different games. So the manufacturer that created the game you got your header from is the one you need to select. Now, here's where the confusing part comes in. It doesn't happen too often, but sometimes the 3 different manufacturers create all the same games, giving those games different chip ID numbers. So you can have different versions of Mario Kart 7, which is normally, on mine anyway, it's actually a C2 game. It's a Micronix game. But sometimes it may be an AE manufacturer. Sometimes OKI Semiconductor is the one that creates it. So, and there's actually evidence online in some of the forums of this actually happening. So if you don't want to do the research to try to figure out what manufacturer ID number you have, which can actually take a long time if you don't have the resources, there is an easy way to get around it. That way is just to create 3 different versions of the game using the 3 different manufacturer IDs. And you can actually see them change on the chip ID here. If I select Micronix, it goes to C2, SanDisk is 45, and OKI Semiconductor is AE. Now, Mario Kart 7 on mine is a Micronix, it's a C2. So, just to show you an example of how it's done, on mine, I needed to switch all of my online games to a 4.5 because that's where my header came from. That's the game that it was extracted from. It was a SanDisk made game, so I need to give it a SanDisk chip ID number in order to match the header. So all you do is hit Eject. It'll ask you the location on where you want to make your backup. I'm just going to save it to my desktop, and you're going to wait. Now you may end up getting up here at the top the little thing that says like not responding, like it just kicked in. Don't worry, it actually is working. Don't freak out and close it out. It actually is working. You just got to give it a second. Now this window will come up. It says chip ID is not adapted to your ROM size or the media type. That's what we were talking about earlier. Those were those last 6 digits of your chip ID. Do you want me to fix this? Yes. Perfect. Look, everything's all filled out now. It's already injected itself. It's all ready to go. And here it is. All you need to do is throw this onto your microSD card and edit one more file, and that is the configuration file for the game. Now you can see that when you first plug in Mario Kart, it'll actually create this file for you. And here's the cart ID. They call it a chip ID on the Gateway ROM Patcher. They call it a chip ID, but on everywhere else they call it a cart ID. This is what confuses so many people as well, but they're one and the same. You actually need to change this to the same manufacturer ID as before. So you're going to change it, save it, and put this in onto your Sky3DS's microSD card and plug it in. Now you can also do the exact same thing for all of your other files as well. Instead of using SanDisk, we'll use the OKI Semiconductor, change it to AE, inject that, change this to AE, and you're just going to do one experiment at a time. That's all you can do, is one experiment at a time, and 1 out of the 3 will work. That's the way it works, guys. I hope this all makes sense. If you have any questions or comments or any other method that you guys have used that works, post it in the comments below. Every bit of information helps, especially if it's all in one place. Like I said, this is what I've done to make this work. Weeks worth of research to get this working, so just let me know what happens. See you guys.